Howdy parts, is your old pal Tumbleweed here with a new review on a shooting iron that I just picked up at the Mercantile. This one here's in 32 Ballard extra long. Now Ballard extra long was actually, it's kind of a misnomer because all the companies back then called it whatever their company logo was. So Smith & Wesson had an extra long 32, Ballard, Marlin, Winchester, Colt. They all called their 32 extra long whatever company logo was. Well, anyway, this here Remington Rollingblock is number 2. Originally chambered in 32 rimfire, but you can see from the breech block over here that it's been altered to center fire. And the fella who did that I found through rollingblockparts.com on the internet. Called them up and said, yeah, y'all know anybody that works on rolling blocks? And they said, yeah, Bill Benner over in North Carolina. I think it's Thomasville, North Carolina. Anyway, you can reach him through rollingblockparts.com. And he'll do a real good job, as you can see on the breech block. I think it was $75 for that to convert it to centerfire. The other feller is up in Kalispell, hope I'm saying that right, Kalispell, Montana, and that would be a fellow by the name of Fred, and he owns a company by the name of 4D Reamer Rentals. And what you got to do is, for I think it's $35, you rent a reamer from 4D Reamer Rentals, and that's how you're going to rechamber the rolling block that you have. Now this is a real good way to handle it, because 32 rimfire, as you might well know, is very difficult and expensive round to find nowadays. I think they're going for about $125, and the only people buying them are collectors. So this 32 Ballard extra long is actually made, as you can see, I've been shooting it quite a bit, and I've got a 30 carbine spent case here just to show you that it's a very similar size case. It's also very similar in capacity to a 3220. Now Fred over at 4D, he tried to get me to convert to 3220. He said, why don't you give the old 3220 round? And that's a good round for a rolling block, as it was manufactured at the time. This particular rolling block, which is actually from the 1870s. As you can see, this one way to tell is this crescent butt plate, and the newer ones, the ones that came out in the 1900s, they did not have that butt plate. The other thing they did not have was this pewter forearm cap. In the 1900s, they went over to a cheaper version, which is just a carved wooden end to the forearm. So if you have one of these old Remington number 2s with the pewter end cap on the forearm, you know it's from the 1870s, 1880s, right around that era there. Anyway, getting back to the conversion, something you will need. Now, Fred's real particular about his reamers, and I don't blame him, they're expensive. But I think for $35, it's money well spent. And what you're going to need to do the job, beside one of Fred's reamers, is you're going to need a brush. This is going to be used to brush away any of the chips that are on the metal on the reamer. You don't want to just bang it up against something to knock off the chips. You want to be real gentle with it, because those sharp edges on the reamer need to be babied. So pay particular care to it, and you'll be all right. Now Fred charges sharpening fee if you go and mess up his reamers, but if you just follow the simple directions, you ain't gonna do no damage to those reamers. Those reamers are made out of tool steel, and they're very tough, and and hard to mess up. The other thing you need is an old handkerchief from riding the trail. You're gonna clean off. You're gonna clean out the chamber as you're doing it. You're gonna clean off the reamer. You're gonna clean off your workspace, everything. Now, something to keep in mind while you're doing the conversion is an old electric drill is not going to do the job. Most drills are, I think, about a 1/4 inch or maybe 1/2 inch capacity on the head. What I did was I had this old hand drill, and this was my grandpa's. He got this to me. It's an old Stanley, and I recommend you use something like this. You want to use a hand tool. You don't want to use an electric drill anyway. Now the chuck on this opens up quite a bit, you see, and that's what you need. The chuck on this will open up to about 3/4 of an inch, and that's what you're going to need. If you don't have something like this, Fred will be more than happy to rent you a handle. I think it's like a T handle or something. He can tell you all about that for the reamer itself. Now the brass that I used, one of the reasons I did not want to go with the 3220, although it is, like I said, it's historically correct, I went with this brass here. This is inch and a quarter long, and it's just slightly larger than the original 32 rimfire. This is made from 327 Federal. You can get this brass all day long on eBay, Gun Broker. This is a Starline brass. You can even buy it over at their website. And got me a Lee mold to mold up some bullets. This black coating you see is a powder coating that I got. There's another fella on YouTube you can check out, Elvis. I forget his name, Elvis Reloading or something like that. He does a lot of powder coating to lead bullets. You can find him on YouTube pretty easy. But anyway, that's a black. It almost looks like the old Winchester Talon, if you remember those. The Winchester Talon had a black coating. I think it was Teflon actually. But this is a powder coating that I picked up over at Harbor Freight, and I watched a couple YouTube videos, and it does a real good job as far as lubricating the bullet, and I think it looks real sharp too. So anyway, with this is a 100 grain Lee mold bullet, and it it throws bullets at about 311, which is just perfect for this old Remington No. 2 in 32 rimfire. Well, now it's 32 Ballard extra long, and like I said, this is slightly larger dimension, but you can buy this brass all day long, fairly reasonable. And I'll show you with one of the spent cases I got over here. It's does a real nice job. Get that in, hope that's in frame. There it is, and does a real nice job of maintaining that historic accuracy. Like I said, that is there we go. And of course, you fellas familiar with rolling blocks, you just pull back on that breech. The extractor here pulls the spent case out. There you go. Now, I'm not foolish enough to put a live round in on YouTube, but needless to say, Fred's reamers over at 4D work perfect. You get you a 327 Federal reamer, and you probably get the one that I had, all sharpened up, ready to go. Use that hand drill or that handle that he rents, and just go real slow. Now, you're going to have to take out this extractor before you do it. The extractor could get caught up in the blades of the reamer. Another video that's good for information purposes is Larry Potterfield over at Midway. He does a conversion on these. I believe it's the same gun right here, same shooting iron, from 32 rimfire over to 32 centerfire. Now he does the 3220, which I don't recommend because brass is a little harder to find. And the other thing with these 32 or 327 Federal, this is accurate to the Ballard extra long. The other thing is, once you use this ramer and get you a new chamber in your Remington Rollingblock, you can shoot 32 rimfire, or excuse me, 327 Federal, 32 H&R Magnum, 32 Smith & Wesson short, 32 Smith & Wesson long, 32 Colt, and 32 ACP, which is a semi-rimmed cartridge. So all those rounds are going to be capable of firing in this chamber here. And that was one of the reasons I didn't listen to Fred and get the 3220, which would be a good round. It's, you know, good cowboy round, but I reckon this 327 Federal is going to do me just fine. And like I said, I've been out shooting it. It's very accurate, and it's a great conversion to get an old Rollingblock back into action. Now I've had this gun here for a little while, and I was real excited to get it out on the range shooting again, and I know you will too. So check it out. Check out Fred over at 4D Rentals, Reamer Rentals, and also Bill Benner. You can, like I said, you can reach both of them online. Fred has his own website for the Reamer Rentals, easy to find. And Bill Benner, real good fella. He'll do a good job for you. And you can find him through Rollingblockparts.com. And get these old beauties up and running again. And, you know, have yourself a good shooting iron that'll give you 150 more years of service. All right. Y'all take care now. This is your old pal Tumbleweed, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Adios, amigo.